to week 3 of our Christmas card series. I have a 6 weeks Christmas card series going on, and the first 6 weeks are exclusive to my newsletter subscribers. So if you're watching this early, welcome and thanks for being a newsletter subscriber. After the 6 weeks is up, we're releasing the videos for everybody to enjoy. If you are used to my videos where I have the measurements up, because of this special series that we're doing, I won't have them up, but you're welcome to write the measurements along the way as we go. I partnered with 5 other demonstrators for this series, and today's designs were designed by Corinne Braxton. Corinne, I love your designs. We've got one that's got a little fun fold on it and a little tab. And then another one is just to show how you can use your sweet stamps to do this. All right, let's get started making week 3 of the Christmas card series. This first card looks like it's got a real tricky fold on it. As far as how do you get this flap to come like this? And it's a really simple way of cutting a score mark here to create a little tab that this front panel will go on. Love this design. I've never made one of these before, so I think you'll really like it. So we're going to start out with a piece of basic black cardstock, cut up 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 1 1/4 and 4 1/4. Okay, so the 4 1/4 is the traditional fold on it. And then the 1 1/4 here, we are going to do some cutting on our trimmer. What we're wanting to do is make a little tab out of this panel, okay? And so all it has to do is, it's not very, you don't have to be super precise with it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cut away the top and the bottom sections, leaving about a 2 or 3 inch tab. So I'm going to come over here, and like this is 1 1/4. So if you want to, you can line it up to the 1 1/4 line on your trimmer. And I'm going to come down about, because this is 5.5. So I'm going to, an inch, I'm taking out an inch. Let me double check here. We're going to come down about 1 1/4 inches in either direction. So I'm going to drop this down to about 1 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to cut up. And so it's cutting about 1 1/4 inches off of the tab, approximately. No one's going to see this, so it's just kind of a guesstimate here. So I'm going to do 1.5 inches or 1 1/4 inches. This is again lined up at 1 1/4. That's where the score line is, and cut. All right, so now we have something that looks like this. So the whole purpose of this 1 1/4 inch tab, or fourth section, is to make a tab. So I'm just gonna, here's where it's folded, and here's where we cut. And I'm just going to angle cut this a little bit, just like if you ever made a box and you're doing the tab. I'm gonna just angle cut it. All right, so again, it's not so much of a big deal about how large this tab is. And for those of you that got the PDF and the kit to go, like you'll see here where it just says, it just reads that you just want to leave a little bit of a tab here, about a 2 or 3 inch tab. Okay, so that's how we're going to make the tab. So friends, if you can make that tab, we are home free. Now we're going to take a piece of the Modern Christmas designer paper, and we're going to put that on the inside of our card. And this is 5 1/4 by 4. Put this black and white tree. This is again part of that Modern Christmas Specialty Designer Series paper. And then for the front panel, we're going to put another piece of designer paper. And this one is cut at 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. And what makes it specialty is one side of it has gold foil accents. I'm just using my liquid glue, and that's going to be decorated here. All right, so look how cute that is. Corinne's design is so cute. Next, let's do some stamping. For this Christmas card series, we focused on 4 bundles, 2 of them that kind of like are complementary to each other, but one, the Ornamental Christmas, is part of this suite of products with the Modern Christmas, and we are going to be using the sentiments Merry Christmas, 'Tis the Season, and these tree images here. Kind of show you how you can mix and match those tree images. Okay, I've got the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'm going to take the 'Tis the Season, and I've used the Textured Notes die to make a layering piece here. And let's do this. I just re-inked this, so it should be nice and juicy. 'Tis the Season. And that's all we need to do on that. And that's going to get layered on a piece of basic black that's 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. So if you didn't have this layer here, you could easily just cut out a piece of basic white at 5 by 2 1/2. But if you have the nested notes dies, that's what you could do. So that one just looks nice and cute on the inside of that. Okay, so we got that layer stamped. And then our next layer, we are going to be using the die from the Nested Essentials. So we have Nested Notes and Nested Essentials die. Again, you could just do a rectangle piece on there. And on this one, we're going to use the Merry Christmas for the inside. Okay. Merry Christmas. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to glue. Let me close this up here first. And I'm going to glue Merry Christmas on the inside. And just in the middle of the inside of your card. And then the tab part here, your outside rectangle that we just made, the top layer, is going to get adhered to this tab. So this is why it's nice that it's the depth of it's 1 1/4 inches. It's really going to support our 'Tis the Season. And what I like to do, let's go ahead and get the bone folder out. Let's get this fold nice and down. Okay. And just put adhesive all on your tab. That way you don't have to worry about where you're placing it on your top layer on here, the top rectangle. And then what I like to do is this gets centered on the card. So just do that. And then there's our little mechanism. So give that just a second to dry. And then if you wanted to, I'll show you the sample that I had here first. I took this tree image here and stamped it on a piece of scrap basic white. There is a die that will cut around it that makes it real, like, what do I say? It has it in this type of a shape. But what I did on the sample that you see here is I stamped it, and then I just kind of fussy cut around it so that it gives a little more of a branch look to it. So I did not die cut this, I just cut around it. So you could do that. But then what I thought I would do as well is, so this is what it looks like when, I thought I'd just give you a couple of options here. So if you wanted to use the Wow Gold embossing powder and emboss that image, you could do that and then use the die to cut around it. Or you could stamp that in black and just, cut around the trim of it as well. So I'm going to show you this option. So again, I just heat emboss that with some gold embossing powder, and we'll kind of just mix up the look a little bit. If you got the the PDF or the kit to go. There's other designs on that too. The important thing that you want to take away is just how to do this mechanism. And then we've got several examples of how you can decorate it out on that. All right, so now I'm going to get my Stampin' Dimensionals. And I just want to have the dimensionals on what would be the back right side. So flipping it over and putting it on the left side. Again, just kind of showing you some different design options. And we'll put that one down like that. Ahead of time, I've tied a bow out of the Black and White Gold Baker's Twine pack. And we'll get our glue dots. And let's go ahead and cut these tails down just a little bit. And you can put your baker's twine on however that you like. You could wrap it around. I'm a bow person. I like my bows. And then we're going to put some gems on. These are the traditional sparkling sequins. And I'm going to pull out the gold tones that are part of this. And go ahead and put a few of those on. You can just kind of mix and match the sizes on that. And let's see, I have my, oh, and then here's the Christmas tree star. We'll get a mini dimensional on that and put a gold star on the top of our holiday tree. And we're all set. Such a cute card. I love this. Just making a tab on a panel, and it really makes for a different interactive card. All right, that's our card 1. Let's go and make our second card. Our second card, designed by Corinne. It's so cute and it's so easy too. So this card is for typically and completely for the joy of stamping. So what we're going to need for this is we're going to need our card base, 8.5 by 5.5, and scored in half and folded. A piece of the Christmas Tags and More Mix and Match Specialty Designers paper. What a mouthful. And this is 5.5 by 1 1/4 or 1 3/4. There's one of the designer papers that this border is part of, and really all you do is you just cut along the border on the side of it to make this this section here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and we can glue that down to our card base. This could be a layout that you could reach for time and time again. Okay, we'll put that on. There we go. And then the other part of the card is we're going to need some layering matting pieces. The real red is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then our basic white is 4 by 3. And let's do some stamping on our 4 by 3. And we are going to be using the Stamp Sets Homemade Treats on those, and then also using just one of the sentiments from the Gingerbread Men Baking Spirits Bright. Going to be using Crumb Cake in Real Red. And what we're going to do is make our own pattern on the basic white. So I've got crumb cake, and I've got this, looks like a cookie dough image where you cut out where they've taken the die cut or the cookie cutters and cut out the dough. And so this is me making sure I've got it inked up. And we're just going to stamp around this. And I'm going to make 3 images of this larger one and kind of go in sets of 3 when I do my stamping. Kind of just get some other ones, other angles. Okay, now I've got I'm gonna keep that out, or keep it open. I'll come back to that. Now I'm gonna get my other largest image. So when I do these, I try to start with the larger ones first and then fill in with the smaller. So here's our cute oven mitt. And kind of get those every which way. And it's okay if they overlap. Got a little halo there. Those are always good spots then that you can use when we do our sentiment. Okay, so now I have the little Santa hat. And come back to the crumb cake. And I have our gingerbread man. And let's see, again, he can be filled in and overlap. It's no big deal. And let's see, one more. Let's try to get him in here. There we go. All right, so then we've just made our little collage. Still with using our Real Red. I'm gonna take the Baking Spirits Bright Sentiment, and again, that's from the Gingerbread Man. And we are going to put this on a strip of 1/2 inch. Oops, I want to leave a little bit for cutting it at an angle. A 1/2 inch basic white. You can use a 3/4 inch strip, whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be a 1/2 inch, just whatever you're most comfortable with. And while we have the Real Red out, let's go ahead and we'll stamp the inside. This is going to be from the Homemade Treats bundle. It's beginning to taste a lot like Christmas. And we'll put that on the top. Okay, let's put this cute card together. We'll take our collage that we made. We made our own designer series paper in a way by doing all of that random stamping and those cute little baking images. And then let's use our dimensionals and we'll pop this up. This is going to go on our card front. So this is something that you could do with any color that you have. And let's see, I think I'll put it this way. Well, I'm going to put Baking Spirits Bright. I'm going to cover up my little boo-boo on that. So I'm just going to put that on our card front. And then the Baking Spirits Bright, whoops, that got moved around just a little bit. There we go. We can just angle cut the edges off. So you can just kind of angle cut those. And then here's where we can cover up any little mistakes that we might have. So I'm going to put 2 more dimensionals on here. Okay, Baking Spirits Bright. And then if you look at this, it has these little candy canes on it. There is the matching dies that goes with the Homemade Treats. And it's nice, they give you multiples of some of those smaller ones there. And so ahead of time, I've stamped with Real Red and die cut out our 3 candy canes. Okay, there's the cute little candy cane images. And I'll get our mini dimensionals out again. Perfect for just the, works perfect on the top of that. And then on those we can pop up. Give it just a little more of an interest on the card by that. These would be easy if you wanted to just hand trim or what we call fussy cut. And here's where if you want to, you can kind of hide some other areas that maybe you're not the most excited about, that I kind of like. I think it's kind of cute where you have it by the cutout there, kind of to show the, you know, the, what do I say, how the cookie might look when it's all said and done. Okay, next is the last thing we have to do is put our gems on. I've used these traditional or shiny sequins, whatever those things are called. I've got 2 packs of those opened up and going on. I just love these so much. So let's go ahead and we can put a couple down here at the bottom, and then 1 up at the top. And there we have it, Baking Spirits Bright. All right, let's bring in our other cards. Again, this is just kind of showing how you can take that stamp set and do some different things with it. And then we've got our cute little baking one. All right, I hope you enjoy week 3 of the Christmas card series. And again, if you're on my newsletter, thanks for subscribing. And if not, I invite you to do so. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.